Well, it is Sunday. It is the 10th of June. Welcome to Crypto Divas. Now, you might notice that my partner in crime today is not Morgan, but she is very attractive blonde. I don't know how I managed to do that. So I'd like to introduce you to our new Crypto Diva, is Lina Billson, all the way from Estonia. So welcome, Lina, I said Lina.
Yeah, it's okay. Hello. As Jillian already introduced, my name is Lina. I have been working on a few different crypto projects for about the last 5 years. I got interested in it about 6 years ago, and it's really exciting time right now because now everyone else is getting into it. So I'm not the crazy person at the family dinner talking about made up money anymore. That's kind of my thing. I've been mainly in the marketing, business development side. Mm-hmm. So how to get this new tech to more people and
yes. Wow, I'm so impressed you're in it so long. I mean, I am a Johnny come lately. I mean, it's only last year that I got into it, and the reason why I say how I could defend my position is that I got like 30 years of fintech experience. So I put it into blockchain, but I only discovered blockchain in the middle of last year. And when I knew it before slightly, but it didn't really come into my world. But when I discovered it last year, I went, wow, this is so powerful. I've come home, so it's great. So the Crypto Divas thing. So do you want to do the good week, bad week? What stories did you happen upon?
Yes, I found a few interesting ones. Now, obviously, one of the biggest is probably EOS.
Yes.
So they raised 4 billion during their ICO, which was ongoing for a year, which is fantastic. Now, of course, you'll have all sorts of headlines about it. Some wrote that this project raised 4 billion off just the paper, which I would say isn't true. But now the ICO is over, and we got to a place where they had the yes votes in, so they can launch their blockchain now. So that's really exciting. And why it is exciting is we are also considering using their tech for our upcoming platform, because it, if you think of it, Ethereum was kind of the first one in for the smart contracts.
Yes.
And now we're getting these new blockchains and new platforms that help us do more things. And this is completely normal. I mean, we don't have to stick to the first one in. We just need to see what's out there.
Interesting, because when I'm in London next week, I'm meeting one of the hedge funds that actually are managing, Block One, all the money they've raised, they're investing in it. I'm meeting Shane Kyo he's with SVK Crypto. So I'm meeting him next week, and it'll go all about EOS. So EOS is obviously the flavor of the month at the moment. And it was interesting too as well. They were saying, the main net launch, they said it was late, and there was some phishing attacks that was associated with it. But also they were saying that there were some I can't speak today. I think it's the sunshine. Vulnerabilities that have been discovered, but that was good because they had time to fix them and clean the way. So it's very exciting times for EOS for sure. And my good piece of news was Bart Smith, whom you may have heard of. He's a Wall Street crypto king, according to CNBC. He is he's with the Pennsylvania-based Susquehanna International Group. But he reckons that institutional investors will be pouring into the crypto markets very soon. And that all we need is, we don't need rules, he said. We don't need, we just need clarity. So it's not actually what you're going to do. It's more how each country is going to police the new markets. And it's not, we don't need the whole rule book set out, which is the clarity on what way they're going to go. So that's very positive, because they set up, in 2014, they set up a trading desk with Bitcoin. We've got 12 traders, and there's a couple of $100 million each day traded with on their desk. So he seems a man to watch out for. So that's good news too as well.
Definitely. I mean, the institutional money is definitely pouring in, which is, it is great. First ones were probably the people who got in early, got some Bitcoin. Now it's worth a huge amount of money. But, speculators say that this money, the crypto nerds money, has now exited the market. And now we have the institutional players in, which does, of course, change the game quite a bit. But then on the other hand, there's so much capital pouring in that will help new projects go a lot further.
Yes.
So if you compare to what was raised last year through the ICOs, that was about 3.8 billion, I believe, something along those lines. And right now we are now in June, and the total amount is now close to 7 billion.
Yes.
or probably more than that now, thanks to EOS. So there's no sign of, oh, the ICO boom is over. It's just the beginning. And if you look at the market cap of all the cryptos, it's so small if you compare it to, let's say, stocks or Forex.
Yeah.
So just at the beginning still.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. There was an interesting survey done by Chain Analysis sort of on that topic about who was in. And they were saying of the 1,600 wallets hold a third of all Bitcoin. So it's still centralized a lot. There's still a lot of whales out there. And the 100,000, the 1,000, they had some large wallets. There's 100 wallets that have more than 10,000 Bitcoins. That's about 75 million. So that's a lot of whales on there. And he was saying that it's not great to have it quite so concentrated, because obviously what we want is mass adoption. And with mass adoption, the whales have less influence, and it'll become more stable, basically. So I think we haven't quite got there yet, but we're moving in that direction.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah. So I've another good story, and you like this story because you can say Estonia probably does this already, and I'm pretty sure Estonia does do this already. But in Zug, the crypto valley there, they're having their first blockchain-powered trial municipal voting, and it's going to run from between June the 25th and July the 1st. That's different, so there's a time window for it. Citizens can vote on their mobiles, and there's going to be some minor matters they can vote on, also to ask them, will they do the next referendum on blockchain? It's only a trial, so it's not binding. That's very positive. But tell me, I bet Estonia does it already, doesn't it?
Well, the voting, I don't think that's on blockchain, but voting is online. So I think, what were the statistics last year? I think 90% or 95% of all of the votes were actually done online. And this is through our ID card verification system. So you have your ID card, you either plug it in to your computer. And that is also, the infrastructure behind it is decentralized, and that we're laughing like we're kind of the hipsters. Before blockchain was, before the white paper was published, we had this X-Road, which the point of it is decentralized for security. But there are talks of moving that onto blockchain as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was soon the case.
Yeah, because I was so amazing. I was telling you, I was in the Middle East, and there was 2 talks given from people working in Estonia. And I had no idea. I mean, I knew that Estonia was obviously very crypto friendly, and it's been held up as, a leading country in this area. But I had no idea you've been doing this since 2008. I mean, that's an amazing achievement for the country.
Yeah, well, because we are so small, and so there are issues with our big neighbor here who is quite hostile. I think the only way for us to get forward is through becoming this digital nation, and innovation has always been at the heart of Estonia since we regained our independence in the early 90s. So we figured, we are so small, like economically, how can we make any impact at all? I said, okay, if we move everything to digital and make this our thing, we want to be this e-tiger, like we had this term earlier. So I think it's a very good choice Estonia has made to push that, and hopefully, something great will come out of it.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that Ireland, also a very small nation, very similar in lots of ways, takes note, because we have in the past been great, because we've got 9 out of the 10 top fintech companies here, the Googles and Airbnb, all that stuff. But we're a bit slow at the moment with blockchain. The government hasn't really come forward, and I'm hoping. I've been sort of rattling cages, and I was meeting some of the opposition TDs last week through something else, and I said, you do know about blockchain, don't you? And they're kind of going, blockchain, maybe. I'm going, you need to know about blockchain. For small nations like ourselves, both Estonia and Ireland, we don't have like coal, we don't have gold. So what do we have? The brains of the people. So I'm hoping that Ireland follows suit. I'll be making lots of noise here anyway.
Definitely.
Yeah. So do you have any other news this week, or anything else that jumps out at you?
I did find a few as well. So we looked at the positive one. So EOS, I would call it a good one. Yeah. But there's also something not so good. So the feared 51% attacks that everyone's talking about, and apparently it's supposed to work in a way that attacking these blockchain networks is too expensive. So the fraudsters don't bother to do that. Now, that may be the case with things like Ethereum and Bitcoin and the bigger networks. But if you look at some smaller coins, it's already being done regularly, and that's a problem. Also, there are significant bugs in some systems, which of course happens if you're just launching. But yeah, so far what's been affected is Monocoin, Bitcoin Gold, Zencash, Verge, and also Litecoin Cash now.
Wow.
And there's been a significant amount stolen. Some were the 51% attacks, and some were also some bugs in the system. For example, Zencash, there was an error in the code, so the fraudsters managed to kind of double spend, take advantage of the system. So how the Zencash should work is, because it's a privacy coin, once you have one part of a coin, you kind of burn it and then mint a new coin so that there is no link between the two. However, because of this bug in the code, before these coins were burnt, they were also able to be spent. And even though they contacted all the exchanges, the money had already been sort of traded on the exchange, and the attacker had gone. So there's a lot of issues still regarding security, due to these 51% attacks, or also the bugs in the system, but also the general knowledge of people. So how do you protect your cryptos? It's not like a credit card. Someone, takes your details, spends some money. At that point, you can get it back from the bank. Crypto transactions, they are irreversible. So when someone stole your coins, you can't just say, hey, give it back. And there's a lot of awareness I think there should be more awareness around that you should definitely enable 2FA on all of your accounts. Also, don't keep your money on exchanges, keep them in cold storage, because exchanges also get hacked. Then there's the phishing attacks, which look so legit. I've nearly fallen for them myself. You can be sent an email from your exchange saying, hey, there's an issue with your account. It's branded exactly the same. The email address sometimes is also the same. And you just click on the link, you enter your password, and they have access, and that's it. So, we need to be careful.
I look forward to a time where, I think a lot of the hindrance to people getting involved is that wallets and stuff, they're not really intuitive, are they? They're kind of like with all these long keys and private keys and your seed that you got to remember, and I look forward to the time when it becomes more simple. And like, for example, like we can go and, you can use the phone more easily. And I'm not quite sure how, but whoever actually designs a system that makes it easier to use like our own fiat currencies, I think people will then adopt it easier. Because at the moment, I know it's scary. Oh, what's that wallet doing? What's that big, huge, long key? And how am I meant to remember it? And how do I copy it? And, and if I get it wrong, does it go someplace else? I think there's definitely, and I'm sure there are people working on it, but I think that would make it easier for people to adopt, sort of mass adoption, make it more like what we have already, or just even easier.
Yeah, funny you should mention it. I was actually talking to a few friends of mine. They did an ICO last year. The company is called Change, and their goal is to make sort of personal banking app that is simple to use. So right now, Coinbase is kind of leading the market. The fees are huge, but it's simple to use. So rather than you going on an exchange, which is this huge interface, if you're not familiar with it, you don't really know what to do. Coinbase, you just click a button, say this is how much you want to buy, and it's simple, but it's expensive. So their idea is, it doesn't have to be this expensive. Yes, Coinbase can charge this, because there's no one else that's, doing this so successfully. So they want to put forward the app. Actually looks great. I downloaded it today. Its user experience is quite okay. They're still in testing phase, but they're going to do no fees. Wow. So and it's just going from this scary big hashes and private keys and public keys to just something that works. It's on your phone. You press a button. This is what you want to do. You don't need to see what's behind it.
Yes.
And
what are they called again?
Change.
Okay. All right. I'll look out for them. That sounds amazing. Are they based in Estonia as well?
They are, yes. And they're launching their cards very soon for European users only. So that's, I'm waiting for mine now. Okay. See, I hope they do well.
I'm going to join that because I like the idea of that, because at the moment, I don't know, when I try to explain to other people, all those big long keys I think are confusing, and people just go, ooh, I'm not yet. So, okay, I will do that. Perfect. So do you have any more news, any more bad news, or you've got?
Yes, I found a few more. This one isn't that new anymore. That was from 25th of May. But as you mentioned, so insurance, these wallets aren't insured. And now the project I'm working with is in the insurance field. And that is absolutely true. There is a need for cryptocurrency wallet insurance and anything else, compared, about this field that needs to be insured. But the insurance companies are, pretty slow and traditional. So this cover doesn't really exist. Maybe with your bigger sort of BitCo who provides wallets to enterprises, they have some sort of insurance. But for the normal user, you forget your keys, someone steals your phone, that's it, it's gone.
Yeah.
And because the insurance, I don't know why insurance has taken so long to get into blockchain, really. That I would have thought that it would be the kind of the second one after, banking. Yeah. But what's happened is there has been a maritime blockchain insurance system developed that is now live. And it was developed by Ernst & Young and also Gartam. Now, Gartam is based in Estonia, and they built the blockchain for our health records. Yeah. So that's really exciting. It's now live and in commercial use. So what they're going to do, they're kind of tracking and ensuring sort of shipping and all that side. So it's really excitingly some such big players have gone in. And now, everyone else, I'm sure, will follow as well. So blockchain won't be this weird thing anymore. Everyone will be using it.
You're so relieved, aren't you?
Yes, definitely.
Because, even now, although it's so much more popular, people are much more aware of it now. But I can imagine 5 years ago, they must have thought you were crazy lady.
Yes, pretty much. I remember trying to explain it to my mother 5 years ago. She's like, it's what now? Like, why? but yeah, now it's we're getting there. But I would like to get to a point where, blockchain is the tech behind it. Now, if you send an email, you don't think how the protocols behind it work. You don't have to. You're just sending an email. And it's starting to get a bit grating when you go to these crypto events and conferences. Everyone's throwing these buzzwords around, like decentralized, transparent, smart contracts. Like, stop talking about it. Just say what you're going to do. Because the end aim is the thing that you're going to do. Okay, you're going to build some sort of a platform that will help, let's say from our case, sort of allocate insurance capacity and take away the sort of waste in the value chain of people sending Excel sheets back and forth. Mm-hmm. Now, it doesn't matter how the system works in the back end. The point is how the users are going to interact with it. So, you don't have to send Excel sheets. Things will be automated, and this is what you do. You don't have to go into the details.
Actually, that's very true, because sometimes when I give talks, I do mention those things, the buzzword. I'm guilty as charged. But,
yeah, me too.
But I try to move rapidly on from it, because, again, I'm the same. Like, I was over in actually in Kiev earlier this year, and I use the analogy. I got on a big, huge plane. It's a big plane that took me to here. And I have no idea how a plane works. I don't care how a plane works. It got me safely. I paid my money. Here I am. And I think we overcomplicate things sometimes. I think, listen, it doesn't matter how it works. It works. The plane works. It's been proven. Now let's talk about what we're going to use that plane to do. Is it going to sit on the ground, or is it going to move people around the world? So I think you're right. But then I suppose that's because we're in the know. If people haven't heard of it before, I think maybe they do need those sort of buzzwords to say, okay, this is what it is. Maybe
we need to find some sort of a mix, because on one hand, you kind of do have to explain how it works, but then on the other hand, if it's so difficult to comprehend, then people will get put off by it. Yeah. So need to tweak our marketing messages in the blockchain industry, definitely.
Yeah, and say we're not crazy ladies.
Yeah.
That's cool. Is that all the news you have for this week then? Is that pretty much it? Or
there was I found one more.
You've loads of news. I'm very great. Sorry about that.
No worries. So one thing is, like, in the crypto scene, there's no real regulations about price manipulation. Mm-hmm. So people can do whatever they want. Like Jamie Dimon saying that Bitcoin is a fraud, the price drops 20%, he starts buying. In the traditional world, that's not on. Yeah. And so there's an dispute led by US regulators to open the price manipulation probe. So what's been happening is there was an sort of exchange. Sorry. So basically, Bitcoin ETFs were traded, but however, it wasn't clear where they got their price from.
Ah, yes, I saw the story, yes.
Yeah. So they said that, it's an average of 4 exchanges, sort of Kraken, Coinbase, Bitstamp, things like that. But then the CME said, okay, but are these prices true? And they went to these exchanges and saying, hey, please give us your data from these dates. What were the market prices? And the exchanges went, no, you're being intrusive.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, in one sense, yes. On the other sense, no. I mean, have you got something to hide? Why can't you, show proof of these market prices? Because you need to determine whether this trading was manipulated or not on this other external chain. They weren't attacking Coinbase or the others in any way.
Yeah.
They, of course, threatened them more. So I think they got their data in the end and are looking into it.
Yeah.
But yes, definitely the price manipulation. Because, again, like you mentioned before, the huge amount of Bitcoin and other cryptos is only held by a very small group of people. So to make the price move, it's very easy for them, and the market cap isn't high. So there's a lot of stuff that can be manipulated.
And even that story had an adverse effect on the markets as well, because I see that Bitcoin went down by 4% and Ether by 5%, and they largely said it was as a result of the U.S. Commodity Futures Trading Commission looking at for exchanges. So it is. I mean, we know in time when there's more mass adoption, these fluctuations will sort of flatten out a bit. It'll be much easier. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. When we have more trading volume, more people in it, then Jamie Dimon saying something stupid won't make the price drop like that. I was actually looking at CoinMarketCap today, and Bitcoin actually has stabilized quite a bit compared to what it was doing before, in the last 3 months. So it's kind of set between low levels of 7,000 and high levels of 9,900. So, but there's always different times. So maybe we'll see another rally at the end of the year. Who knows? I
think so. I think most people are predicting that, because the last few years they've done that, haven't they? The end of the year, and then this year they said it was because of the futures the contracts being closed in January. That's how part of the reason for the collapse. Plus, also, if it's up to 20 grand again, people will sell. Of course they will. They want to buy things. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think this is normal. I mean, it's just that the volatility is so high. You reach to 20K, you're like, okay, I'm rich now, I'm selling. So it's Bitcoin has gone through, I think, maybe about 6 bubbles now, or how many? Well, bigger ones, 3. But it's just how it is. And every year when the price collapses, everyone is saying it's over, that's it. And then a year later, the price is 10x again. So I'm kind of hear it as noise now. I don't pay attention.
You're 5 years actively in this area. So let's say I'm only from last year. So I saw the vroom, vroom, what's happening here? It's kind of so it's kind of cool. So what do you reckon? Is it a good week or a bad week for crypto? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's good. There's, not been any substantial big problems. Okay, yes, the 51% attacks, but this industry is new, so we kind of need to find ways to prevent these things. EOS, still, I mean, that was really astonishing, raising 4 billion, and it's a great thing. I hope it goes far.
Yes.
So.
And it's nice because I have this fund which they're going to invest directly into EOS developers and platforms, so that will self-grow it as well. I mean, it'll be a huge community. It'll be very interesting to watch that very closely. And it'll be fun if you guys get involved.
Yeah, I absolutely want our platform to be parts of it built on EOS. Wow. Now, the question here is who gets there first. But I reckon if we find that this is definitely the tech that should be behind our platform, then even if we've started with, let's say, some other public blockchains, we can move over to that. So I definitely see the benefit of using EOS.
Do you think EOS will sort of usurp Ethereum then?
I don't know, maybe. So it's kind of, I like to use this analogy of the first car was ever made. So late 1800s, the car looked nothing like the cars we drive in now, but still uses the internal combustion engine. So we had this first car that has the motor that most cars today, even now, are used in. Yeah. So we have, so if blockchain is kind of the engine, and the car itself can change over time. So in that case, I don't really care if Bitcoin makes it until the end, or Ethereum, or whichever coin. Yeah. It's the technology it has given us will really take us far.
I like that point. I like that point. So I think I agree with you as well. I think it's been a good week. Certainly, it's been a great week here in Ireland with sunshine. So sunshine makes everything good. Sunshine makes
Yes.
everything good. I think it's the same in Estonia as well. You've had some fabulous weather.
Yes, exactly. It's very nice today. It was a few days of rain, but today it's picking up again, and the whole May has been just wonderful.
Wonderful.
Now I was in LA though, and I was like, oh, sunshine and palm trees, and it was actually colder there, so I was really disappointed.
Oh no, that was very unlucky. You should have come to Ireland. We have beautiful weather here now. Okay, well that's great. So we think it's a good week. Sunshine definitely makes it a good week. Lots of interesting things happening, projects coming on board. And we're getting to the middle of the year, and we've raised more. The industry's raised more money than it did in the whole of last year, so that has to be a good thing.
Absolutely.
So I'll say goodbye from Ireland.
And goodbye from Estonia.
Okay.